Yeah, those are the agendas.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I don't want to put all this stuff out. I got to move it here in a minute. Ain't no sense in setting all that out. Where's your buddy at?
Tyler is in meetings all week. He's Island CT meeting in Muncie.
I think I asked you.
He'll be back Friday.
Mario.
There.
Good, are you?
Yeah, we'll be for a while, but I think everybody's
Return to school.
Right now.
Huh? In our office? Actually, yeah, it has been.
Training.
Yeah.
Real busy. Since the first of the year. Keeping busy for sure.
That's the only way I'll drink it.
Hey, how are you? Good.
Kelly, take one for the team.
What's that?
Take a drink of that.
Just handed me this water. He was impressed. I said, "Here, you take it."
Oh, that little shop down here, I guess, in Alstrom.
Oh, yeah? Why?
Yeah, real happy for me.
Yeah.
I wasn't happy with me today. I called the coach and had a chat with the coach.
I've been wearing them cheaters working for me.
Everybody's mad at me now, Dow, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Season's over yet. I just thought, we don't
Well, another place.
I don't know.
You get the email?
I just read it. I just got it. Yes. Excuse me, sir.
Go line up. I'm gonna line up Sean.
Sean.
Money, blessings.
She got a lot of
Black Rose Day.
How's wrong?
What's her name?
How's wrong?
Our cousin? Tom.
I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to help him if he wants to.
You still there?
I like Sean a lot. I think he's a great guy.
Well, he's did a pretty good job with the boys back then. He's young. Very respectful.
Oh, yeah.
That's so sad. So sad.
Yeah? Yeah. I don't know how they sleep at night.
Thank you.
Everybody's fine, thank you.
I'm glad we elected him.
I see your JR running the streets now on a bicycle.
Oh, yeah, he was metal detecting today. I see anything good?
6'2" guys. They get their house down Florida sold. Did they? Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay. Oh,
Good evening, dear. How are you?
Did you see that we published that? You were right about the Board of Works change. No, we published it, but you weren't here last time, so
No, I didn't
we
see
did
it,
publish it. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
Appreciate
I
that.
thought there was something like that before we ran into.
Yeah, thank you for
I learned from my mistakes.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
I think
Yeah,
that's
you're spot on, so thank you.
Doesn't this go to our committee here? Am I? Is this? That's what that envelope was. Everybody's copy.
That complicated.
It will be about there.
I'm gonna put this closer to you. I won't have it.
If you do, I'll just slide it over to you.
Is it on now?
Yeah, I went and turned it on.
Hi, E.G., how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good.
You got to do 3 readings on the ordinance.
Let it.
That's great.
to a building up full of
Yeah, me too.
Sisters.
Graduated, went to bed, lay there back to
We had them.
If we go quick for the others.
Will you watch the clocks and then just?
Yeah, but I wanted to let you know.
We don't have anything until you're not on the plate. What we'll do is we'll move to,
Here?
we can, if we have, so we can,
We can't do it prior to either, right? It has to be at.
Do you have a chance to do that one?
but if we need to, we can move you up.
All those
We'll play it by ear.
I'll keep an eye on it too.
Yes, do we even do
To-do list?
like, okay,
Yes.
somebody might have something to bring up.
two-story
I put some, hey, I questioned one, I didn't get in it, but there's two side by side. Well, one's just literally
Well,
there.
no, I made him do a form.
Because I think that's mine. Unless she doesn't have it.
Yeah,
One's got a hose bib on it. I think we used for demo.
I am, that she's refusing. But I'll have to give more.
I guess he's getting ready, of course, when the weather gets better, to start landscaping, you know, the sod goes out front.
Welcome, everybody, to March 7th, 2016 council meeting. First up on the agenda is going to be Lawrenceburg Parks and Playgrounds agenda. Could I get a roll call, please?
Member Tony Abbott.
Here.
Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Mel Davis. Member Randy Abner.
Here.
Member Paul Seymour Jr.
Here.
City Attorney Del Weldon.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen. President Kelly Milan.
Here.
And myself.
Okay. Any announcements?
I have one question. I've had a few people ask me when the slides will be fixed at Arch Street Park.
Arch Street?
I guess there's been plywood up on them.
Yeah, it's been like that for some time. I know parts were ordered back some time ago. May check with Toby, or I can check with him tomorrow, find out what the status is.
Okay.
Thanks, Aaron. How many slides are affected over?
I'm not sure. Do you know?
Please?
How many?
A couple of them, or?
How many slides are affected by the plywood?
Actually, it's like a triple slide.
Gotcha.
One unit. but
Okay,
it
it's
has
that
like-
one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll check on that tomorrow. Okay. Any other announcements? I don't know if this is the right meeting for me to do this, but I'm going to do it. Just want to visit the elephant in the room. I guess everybody is well aware of some outside media covering Lawrenceburg again regarding the loans. What I would like to say about that is not everything that he's reporting on is fact. He said that this administration has not done anything about those loans. That is untrue. We've been working on those loans since as much as we can do. I mean, before we took the seat in January, but as of January 1, we've been working on this. I know that, I don't want to. I'm not going to throw any administration under the table. I think that when these loans were handed out, I think they were done in good faith. I think they were done for the right reasons. I just think that they weren't handled correctly. We all know that. That's obvious because that's why we're in the position we are now. What I would like to say about that, we have committed to being transparent on everything we do. And that will hold true for this 4 years. What I would like to say is we don't work for people in Cincinnati. We work for you, the citizens. There was a vote something mentioned in the December 7th meeting by council, I guess it was, to file foreclosure, send out notices. Here's my problem with that. I think the citizens of Lawrenceburg would want me to do my due diligence, and my attorney and others, to get all the facts rather than take somebody's word for it. And that's what we did. And that's what we've been doing. I was not going to share a plan for recovering our funds, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to recover our funds. But I was not going to share that plan with anybody outside of this community. When the time comes to share that plan, it'll be with you all, because we work for you. Now, with that said, this will be taking place very, very shortly. But under no circumstances do I want anybody to leave this room or to think that somebody's outside influence caused us to make a decision. This has been going on since January 1st. I think people in the audience that know me and know what I stand for will believe what I'm telling you tonight, because it's the truth. And I would just ask you to be patient. Listen, these loans, most of the balloon payments were due in 2011. And if I'm going to take the advice of an outgoing administration in December, I think you all would want me to do my due diligence to make sure. I'm the one that has to answer for anything we do from here on out. I'm not going to take someone else's advice or decision when it's something of this importance. We're talking about millions of dollars. And I believe that this council up here, they're going to be rolled, that whole plan is going to be rolled out to them this week, because we got some litigation that's involved as well. And then we'll share it with the public. So I just wanted to clear that up. We're just trying to do the right things, the right way. And we've been here for about 2 months, a little over 2 months. And decisions will be made very shortly. So, with that said,
I had one question about
Yes.
that. Because I seen on the news that said, you're talking about, said that the city attorney made the call not to act on that, but that's not his decision.
that is not his decision. And
And it's the loan committee / council's decision, and I've never heard a vote to rescind that decision. That's whose decision it would be, is either the loan committee or the city council, which are the same entity, but, so who could have stopped it then?
I did.
That's not your vote to do that.
Well, I didn't take a vote. I didn't do that because I wanted to make sure that we were taking the right course of action, because we're ultimately going to be held accountable for it, both legally and socially.
So why are we taking votes if you're just going to stop which ones you don't want to act on?
I've not stopped anything that you guys have voted on.
The collection of the loans, the way we voted on in December, which it wasn't, and just didn't, the vote happened in December, but it was 8-month work in progress. I mean, I've got all the stuff here I brought tonight. I mean, the last administration didn't pick that firm. It was the recommendation of our local banks picked that firm and went with their recommendation. It's not like, I didn't pick that firm. We went with the recommendation of the professionals. And now all of a sudden, 8 months, how much tens of thousands of dollars down the drain because someone says, I don't like that, we're not going to do it. But
That's not true.
The board that passed it didn't even vote to stop it.
That's not true, Aaron.
What's part not true?
That we're not going to take into consideration the plan that those folks came up with.
Yeah, but it's not your decision alone. It's not Dell's decision alone. It's either the loan committee or city council's decision.
And you're going to that plan's going to be rolled out to you in its entirety, which you didn't hear the entire plan from what I was told by that group of lawyers. And you were going to hear that whole plan this week.
But no one stopped the last plan.
I'm sorry?
The board didn't stop the last plan that we voted on. I mean, I don't see why I'm coming here if you're just going to stop what you don't like and roll out a new plan.
That's not the case at all, Aaron. I think you're trying to twist this a little bit.
No, I'm not. I'm just
understand.
saying that I was involved in that for 8 months,
Yeah.
going through all this stuff, stacks and stacks of paper. We got all the local banks, UCB, US Bank, and one other firm involved in it. They went back and got all their people that do this kind of stuff on a daily basis, found a firm that they recommended that does government loans like this, recommended them. They worked on it for 6 or 8 months, came up with a plan. It seemed like a fair plan to me. We voted on it, and all of a sudden, we're not going to use that plan, we're going to roll out a new plan.
No, that's not true. That's not what I'm saying.
And I'll kind of stop this now because this is not the proper form.
I didn't think it was a
for
proper
debate.
form to announce it in the first place, but.
Well, I mean, I'm speaking.
Okay.
There is very important information that you need to know, that the entire council needs to know, that will be shared at an executive session. Neither Mayor Milan nor I stopped any action from the previous administration. They waited until December to make a vote, and they voted to do things that would bind the new administration that was taking office less than 30 days later to take action in litigation 1 month, 15 days into office. And that wasn't possible. Because it's litigation, we need to talk about it as a council in executive session first, and then we can share it with the public. But nothing was stopped. The plan that was presented was not presented in full in December, and we will share that again. Because litigation is involved, we'll share it in the executive session this week, and then we'll share it with the community. But the important thing is, nothing was stopped, and the work that was done by Gerner and Kearns and by the previous administration is still a part of the plan to move forward. The vote that you guys made was will be carried out. More work needs to be done in order to implement that.
The vote that we had was to move forward on a recommendation of Gerner and Kearns on the paperwork that we have, and I have that here tonight if you want me to read it.
I have all that paperwork, and again,
So that is a full plan. I mean, it talks about what the city should send out to the people. If they don't respond, this will happen. If they do respond, this will happen. It's a plan. It's a whole plan.
So what he is saying is, before you decide not to send them out or to send them out, we should have had a work session so the whole board could have worked on it and decided.
Well, that's sort of what Thursday's going to be, Tony, because that's what it's going to entail, is the whole plan as it was rolled out to the previous administration.
Okay, will that be a work session or executive session? Does it have to be an executive session? Because there's no way to vote in the executive session.
No, I
I
understand.
believe only one of them's in litigation, correct? That would be the only one to be an executive session allowance.
again, this is not the proper forum for discussion. I can't answer these questions. They involve litigation or possible litigation.
I'm not talking about the facts, I'm just talking about like the 16, 17 rules for an executive session, whatever there are. I believe only the litigation one would apply to this, and if there's one in litigation and 16 that aren't, I mean, you can't discuss 16 that aren't in litigation, can you?
You can make any statements you want. We're not going to discuss litigation or possible litigation here.
Okay,
No,
but we
I'm
can
not
discuss
wanting
whether we want a executive session or a work session. I would rather be a work session so we can take a vote, and it's transparent, like we said.
Well, it's not transparent.
An executive session, you cannot vote on it.
Exactly.
And the public's not welcome, so he's saying.
Public's not welcome. We want to be transparent. I'd rather it be a work session if we can, where we can vote that night if we decide to. Whereas in executive session, we can't vote.
And this is the nature of the discussion that we'll have Thursday, the executive session. I can't speak for the council, but I would think that any vote that we take would occur in a council meeting in public.
So the basis of this executive session on Thursday is litigation. So we're only going to be discussing the loan that involves the litigation, not the 16 others.
All the loans involve possible litigation.
I've never heard anything about possible litigation, so no one's ever informed me about that, except for one that I know of.
Well, the vote that occurred on December 7th involved the possibility of litigation, and that's what we'll discuss.
Has
on
anybody
Thursday.
contacted the city about that? I didn't know about it, or
Well, you were there in December.
I never heard anything about litigation.
Again, this is not the time.
I
place to
didn't
discuss
start the conversation on this board, but I'm just following up, what I thought about the subject.
Okay. All right, any other announcements? Anybody? All right, approval of minutes from the previous meeting. Need a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. New business. Susie Romines, Newtown Park Pinwheels.
Thank you all for having me here today. My name is Susie Romines, and I represent Prevent Child Abuse of Dearborn and Ohio County. We're a small group, but we do welcome everyone to come and join us. We meet the first Wednesday of the month at SIOC in Aurora to talk about ways that we can be the educational arm to help with child abuse and neglect prevention in our communities. There are many reasons to host the Pinwheels, which I'm asking for you to grant us the opportunity to have the Pinwheels in Newtown Park, April 18th, Monday, April 18th through Saturday, April the 23rd. So we'd like to have the parks look nice and clean and mode and everything, because on the 23rd we are going to host our annual vigil. This is done all around the country, and here for Dearborn and Ohio County we'd like to host a vigil from 12 to either 1 or 2 o'clock. I'm not sure when it'll be in, because we're looking for guest speakers to come and talk about the importance of having a healthy community, letting kids grow up free of bullying and disrespect and abuse and neglect that they're suffering in, mostly in silence. And also maybe to have a singing group come. And I invite you all to come and join us on that Saturday, April the 23rd, if you all allow us to do so. So that's why I'm here. But just quickly, I want to tell you a little bit about our organization. We're a small group. We really could use your support to get involved. If you know somebody, please come to our monthly meetings at SIOC. Our president has moved away. Our vice president has a form of cancer and had to retire from Prevent Child Abuse. Has been there for 20 years. This is our 20th year anniversary, and we're going to be working with the newspaper on some promotions to really promote the value of having a Prevent Child Abuse Council in your community. That's where you should want to live and raise kids, places where we have great resources to look out for your children, to be on the educational arm, because we want kids to recognize signs that somebody is either trying to touch them inappropriately or bullying them or a friend of theirs, or mom and dad's having trouble, or somebody was beat up last night. And in other cases that we've definitely heard of lately, if there's something going on the internet that looks like it could be hurtful to somebody else or disrespectful, that we can talk to somebody. We know we can talk to somebody, and we're not afraid or ashamed, because child abuse is never a child's fault. A few reasons that we think they're important for you to consider to get involved with PCA, and reason to prevent child abuse is, as we know, child abuse can be fatal. Each year in the United States alone, an average of 4 children die every day as victims of child abuse and neglect. The vast majority of these children are under the age of 3 because they don't know to tell, they don't know what's wrong, they don't know how to pick up a phone and dial 911. Child abuse is costly. I hear many of these statistics about how it runs into billions of dollars with rehabilitation and child welfare system and counselors. And even though I keep seeing all these things about dollar signs, and that's important, the number one reason that we need to prevent child abuse and neglect is because it is a life. And we need to value all lives, not just our own, not just our own families. Look farther, look harder, be nicer, be kinder. Prevention programs like ours that target children can improve a child's awareness of how best to avoid child abuse and other unsafe practices. When they've done evaluations over programs such as ours and others that we have in our community, not just Prevent Child Abuse, our efforts can result in increased knowledge for children about safety rules and what they should do if they are being abused. These programs create an environment in which children can more easily disclose prior or ongoing maltreatment. It is important to you and important to me. Who are we living next door to? Who are we encouraging? If there's been problems, what can that problem, if somebody's been involved in abuse or neglect, can they grow up to be this abuser and mistreat other people? A lot of times that does happen, not always, but there is some studies that do show that even with intensive treatment, it might fail in 50% of the time, according to statistics that we have available to us. So it's up to us to create healthy communities, and I'm asking you to please join us. Wear blue during April for child abuse prevention. Sometimes I'll have something on and somebody will say, Mrs. Romine, Susie, can I tell you something? And then we go to work and see how we can get help to somebody or somebody that they know or suspect that abuse is happening. There's an easy number to remember if you know someone or want to talk to someone and want to share it with someone. The number is 1-800-800-5556. Will you all repeat it with me? 1-800-800-5556. We do a lot of things. We have a lot of pamphlets that we provide to schools, to principals, to teachers, such as Never Shake a Baby, When is it okay to leave your child home alone, internet safety tips, safe dating, how to report, and what you should report when you call the 800 hotline that I just told you about, because they want to know lots of things, you know, not just something you suspect. You really got to give great detail. Stress management, and it's great to be a dad, and really good tips. We have lots of programs. We try and do bowling with dads to encourage that relationship. We've done movies with moms, movies with families, and even games with grandparents. We try to get into schools, but like I said, we're a handful of volunteers, and we really do need to grow, so I really could use your support, because I'm not just doing it for my own family, but for everyone's family. And you all have been good to me through the years, and this is my way to give back. So I hope that you will join us and allow us to put the pinwheels in the park during that week. They will be in different areas. I use different groups to help. A lot of times I use some of our students, because I want their eyes wide open to know why we do this, and give them a little bit of education on the importance of protecting and looking out for all students. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, we just need a motion to allow Susie's group there to use Newtown from April 18th through the 23rd, correct? Through the 23rd. Can I get a motion? So moved. Second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Susie.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for what you do.
And on that note, I think everyone here knows, but recently there was a Mardi Gras event held at the event center here in Lawrenceburg, and $75,000 was raised to support the Child Advocacy Center, which is wonderful. So we have a wonderful community, and thank you for what you do.
And, you know, I brought some goodies for everybody, some pamphlets and some statistics, and also some bookmarks. Can I leave them with Mario or somebody here that can pass out?
Sure.
Just leave it over here.
Thanks, everybody. Hope to see you these upcoming months.
Okay. Any other new business that's not on the agenda? Anybody have anything? Old business, Jamie Chase, Little League Field Sunshield /parade /pool party. Anything else?
Not at the moment, I don't think.
All right.
Thanks for having me, guys. Susie, if you're interested, on our opening day, we'd like to have you come down and set up a booth, if you'd be interested.
Okay.
We've got about 320 kids in our program this year, and there'll be plenty of families and everybody running around having a good time.
Great. If we can get together,
Yeah.
that'd be perfect.
That'd be fine.
All right, thanks.
Thanks for having me, guys. Sorry I didn't get Mr. Cook a little bit more information last time. I was kind of shocked that even when I remembered that I even said anything to him. What we've got an issue with the Chick Swing Field, which is the field closest to the community center. I'm not really sure what's happened, what's changed. A lot of people said since they tore the houses down on Water Street, it's become more of a problem. But what happens is about 6:30, 7 o'clock every night, sun starts beating in at home plate. You got kids sitting there squinting, trying to pull hats down, trying to see while they're having a baseball thrown at them. Basically, we're kind of concerned and worried that one of these kids are going to take a fastball off the chin or something. I'm asking for you guys' help on this. I'm not really sure what it's going to take, what it's going to involve. I'm sure Mike's going to have to get involved, and Mario, to see what it's going to cost, what it's going to look like. I've got some examples here. Just basically, I've seen several fields that have these put up for this same purpose, and this is basically what they are. I'm going to bring this up to you guys. Here's a couple copies of this. Send one each way. It's just a polyester screen. Here's some pictures of some that obviously ours would be the setup down there would be a lot different because we're talking about a lot higher up in the air to cover that area that's going to keep the sun out of the kids' eyes. But that's really what I need. I wanted to see if we could get something going to see what it would take, see if it's even feasible to do, or if we're just going to have to grin and bear it again for the next several years. Maybe the earth will shift or something and we'll get out of the sunlight. As far as the sun shield goes, that's basically it. I mean, it is what it is. Get you guys to
Take a
look at it and see what it'd take. And then the parade, I don't know if I can bring that up here if you want me to wait till city council meeting.
No, you bring it up now.
April 23rd will be our opening day. We usually have a parade down Walnut Street. We line up on High. Usually starts about 10 o'clock in the morning. Just like to get you guys' permission to do that.
That's fine. You want us to go ahead, we can go ahead and take a...
If you want to go ahead, yeah, that's fine.
I need a motion to accept Little League's request.
I'll make the motion.
All right, second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries to allow the parade to go on the 23rd.
All right, thank you. And then the last thing was, we usually have our pool party in July. We always try and get I think it's just the deposit and fees waived for the Lions group. In the past, we've always had that happen. Just wanted to see if that was possible to get it done again this year.
Well, we haven't talked about how we're approaching that, have we? Can we get back to you on that piece of it, Jamie?
That's fine. Yeah, that'd
Okay,
be fine.
because we're just looking at different options than just waiving fees for everyone all the
Right.
time.
Yeah, I understand.
So we're not trying to skirt the issue there. Just as soon as we visit that piece of it, you say it's not until July?
Yeah, probably the second or third week in July. After the fourth weekend, probably that following week if I can get it set up.
All right. We'll revisit that for you, for sure.
That's fine. I
Thanks.
appreciate it. Thanks for your time, guys.
Thanks for your help.
Excuse me, Mayor, if Jamie could give me a call right before that parade so we can assist on that.
I will.
Sure. Good. All right. Any other old business they have up here? Parks, playground? All right. Need a motion to review and discuss claims for board approval?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Board of Works, as soon as we are seated. Okay.
Thanks.
We're not going to be able to get through Board of Works.
A little bit.
Little one.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
I can read it if you want me to. It doesn't matter.
We can get a council next and come back to utilities.
Yeah, but I don't know if we'll get through Board of Works.
Okay.
May have to stop. All right, just so everybody knows that during the Board of Works, if we happen to not get through the entire roster agenda by 6:45, we're going to have to take a recess, go into a public hearing on appropriations, and then we'll come back and start back with the Board of Works. All right, City of Lawrenceburg Board of Works agenda, March 7th, 2016. Roll call, please.
Member Paul Seymour Jr.
Here.
Member Alan Callaway.
Here.
Police Chief Don Combs.
Here.
Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
Here.
EMS Director Bobby Mills.
Here.
City Attorney Del Weldon.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen. President Kelly Malone.
Here.
And myself.
Okay, announcements. The only thing, we were approached by a group that does community videos, and this is all free of charge. They do it for a number of municipalities. We called other places that have had them do their videos with, and we got great responses out of the references that we called. Like I said, it's free. It'll be a video that it's a welcoming to the city. It'll be posted on our website. Actually, Jenny in HR has been heading this up with Judy, and we were just looking for we don't really need to have an approval, I guess, but just wanted to see if you guys were okay with it. We wanted to make you aware of it, and then that's all we were going to do tonight, is bring it up to let you know that we've been approached by a company, and we're not going to vote on it tonight because we got some other questions to ask them. So, just other announcements. Any other announcements from you guys? I need a motion to approve the minutes of previous meeting.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Committee reports. Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
I passed out everybody a copy of the February run totals for the fire department. You should have that as a total of 51. Also, you guys may not be aware of, but now you probably are. The fire, fire station is a polling place for the election board, the county, and I received a letter today from them requesting the site again. Is the board okay with me filling out the questionnaire and sending it back saying we're still good with it?
Yes. I'm okay with it.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Okay. Police Chief Don Combs.
Thank you, Mayor. As I said previously in the meetings, our old SWAT truck, we have come to an agreement of a price for Madison, and they are having their meeting tonight to approve that as well. I believe that will be taken care of tomorrow. So I've got to hold the clerk treasurer's office to get that taken care of, so that'll be finished. And this is coming in the works here soon. Some body cameras. So I'm right now in the process of getting quotes for body cameras. That will eventually probably be law at some point. I'm not sure when. Just like when we video and audio recordings, when we interview people, that became law, and we had to do that and acquire that. So at some point in the near future, we want to acquire that. So I'm in the process of getting quotes for body cameras. Okay. It's just in the process stage right now.
All right.
That's all I have.
All right. EMS Director Bobby Mills.
No report, Mayor.
All right. All right. New business. Mario Todd, Otis Elevator Service Contract.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is just basically housekeeping, renewal for our elevator service. I think everybody received it in their packet.
Okay. All right. I need a motion to accept the Otis Elevator Service Contract. Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Old business, Mike Clark, quote award geotechnical/environmental services quote package.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think everyone received a tabulation sheet in their packet. We did have 4 companies submit bids for this. After going through all the pricing, scoring, the best and lowest cost for this is from ATC and Associates to provide these services. And at this time, I would recommend that we award the master service agreement to ATC.
Okay. How many projects we got right now, Mike? I mean,
Right now, probably 3 or 4 right now that we're gearing up to get started in, and we utilize these services throughout the entire year.
I think currently they're working on 4 projects carried over from last year.
okay. Well, I seen the tabulation sheets and it was, done it really, really well. It's just that, from my experience, if we got a project, I think that if we put together a sequence that we could use on a particular project and went out for bid, I just wasn't under the understanding we had a whole lot of projects going on, and if we take this thing on, we're committing to a whole year of this. Honestly, I just feel like, guys, that we overuse our engineering.
It's only on an as-needed basis, though. You know that. I mean, we don't pay for it unless...
Okay. I know. I mean, everything was done real well, but I think that's one thing that we also need to get under control. And I'll bring it to an example. I don't want to bring up old wounds, but guys, this engineering stuff is recommendations. We got to manage them. There's no guarantees with what they give us, and it's a pretty proven fact that we can get them out there and do too much. There's no guarantees on this. All that cement work that we did all that testing on, and then when things start going bad, we have nothing to fall back on, and we never will. So I would just like to see, I'll recommend that we go forth with this, but I really want it managed. So I'll recommend that we move with this because you did a good job putting this together. There's no doubt that, this is good. I just want to see it managed. I think we over-engineer things.
Okay. Any other comments? Are you going to make the motion to accept the quote award then?
Make a motion that we accept the recommendation of Mr. Clark.
All right, need a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Next one is asphalt patching and repair quote award.
Yes, Your Honor, we had a quote opening earlier today for this project. Right before the meeting, I did hand out the tabulation sheet. We had 4 firms that signed out the quote packages. Unfortunately, only 2 of them submitted quotes today, but we did have the opening, and after going through the pricing, it's pretty evident one stands out, and I would recommend that we award this contract to Paul H. Rowe Company.
Okay. Let's talk about this first. We normally would expect 3 bids to come back in, but this is sort of a specialty project that there's only 3 potential bidders in the area. One chose not to submit a bid, so we'll agree to
accept the two bids and take the best one of those, I guess. Any questions from you guys? All right, I need a motion.
Motion.
To accept the asphalt patching repair quote award. All right, need a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, last thing, Mr. Clark, IT RFQ update?
Yes, Your Honor. We recently advertised for the city to accept the request for qualifications. We had, I think, 6 different firms that signed out packages. Today we had was the due date, we had the public opening, and 3 of those firms did submit. All 3 of those had all the required information included in their packet, and there again, I want to make sure we're clear on this. This is for qualifications only. No pricing, no bids. We do have an IT committee set up where all the departments are represented on this. Tomorrow morning, the chair of that committee will receive all of these RFQs.
Okay.
And that committee will then go through, I'm guessing, probably a month-long process to come up with a recommendation that they will bring to this board.
And the assumption is that they'll come back and they'll want to send out a couple of opportunities to quote to at least 2 of the companies, 3 of the
Right,
companies.
and the process is normally they'll go through, review, shortlist, then they'll start having some intensive interviews with the preferred companies.
Okay.
And then also sit down and actually hammer out or negotiate proposals from whoever they shortlist.
Okay.
And that's how they'll determine their recommendation that they'll put in front of you guys.
Okay. All right, so no action needed tonight, just an update.
Just
All
an
right.
update.
Thank you. Any questions, guys? All right, Mario Todd, Egner Hall HVAC quotes.
Yes, Your Honor. We tabled it last meeting because it was just a verbal solicitation. I handed out what we actually placed in the vendor's hands. We had 3, one called last week and wanted to pull their bid, so we do have 2, and I believe Suzanne has those.
I do. These were submitted via email to Mr. Rainey. First one was received on March 2nd, 9:59 a.m. It's from, is it Cook
Cook Mechanical?
Cook Mechanical.
Mechanical? What would you like me to read on here? The
Hey.
total cost?
Total.
Total cost for above work, $12,580. To provide crane rental, add an additional $700. And again, that's Cook Mechanical. The second one was also via email. Received March 2nd at 10:28 a.m. Proposed cost, I'm sorry, it was Dillard Electric Heating and Cooling. Proposed cost, $8,500. With no additional. No, I'm sorry. Any other items unforeseen at this time will be additional quoted cost. And again, that was Dillard. Would you like me to read the prices again? No?
I got a question. I don't know if you guys had one, but $4,000 is a pretty huge difference in a small amount of, cost of that project.
Sure.
Are we sure that Dillards know exactly what we're?
Correct. He actually had put the like-kind unit in, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay, all right.
I think the difference may be the labor.
Gotcha.
One's a union shop.
Okay, all right. You guys got any questions?
No, I'm comfortable with it, just what we talked about last time. I'd recommend that we go with the lowest bid.
Okay. All right, so the motion on the floor is to accept the bid from Dillard Electric, I believe at $8,500. All right, we got a second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right. I need a motion to approve the claims for board approval. Can I ask something? Oh, sure. We had a bid withdrawn, and I'm a little disappointed, and I got a feeling it was withdrawn because of a conflict of interest. Now, that's fine, it could have been something else, but I'm trying, you know, and I'm speaking here because we are trying to be transparent. I'm a guy sitting on council, but I got a living to make too. So the way I understand a conflict of interest disclosure statement in the book that we got at IAC, these things need to be read at a meeting. And they need to be brought up before my people here and accepted before they're any good. None of us on council, and we've got, I think, 3, maybe 4 people that might have that conflict of interest. And Dale, I mean, is it my job? I brought one tonight. Is it my job to read it because, or should I ask you?
No, that's great, Paul, and I appreciate that. The proper procedure for the conflict of interest forms is as follows. Before any contract could be considered to be awarded to someone that has a potential conflict of interest, that person must fill out a conflict of interest form. Those are available at the clerk treasurer's office. Those forms should be provided in packets before the meeting. That form should be presented to the board or the commission, and the person with a potential conflict of interest should recuse him or herself, leave the room. The conflict of interest form would be read by the city attorney and open for discussion. Any potential questions answered, and then the remaining members of the board or commission would vote to either waive or not waive the potential conflict of interest, and then, and only then, could that person be considered to be awarded any work that would result in a pecuniary benefit or money brought in by that person. If that conflict is waived and the waiver is accepted by that board, then that conflict of interest will be filed with the clerk treasurer's office here locally. It will be filed with the State Board of Accounts, and it also must be filed with the county clerk's office for recording purposes.
Okay. Then I'm doing something wrong.
That's okay.
We need to get it straightened out. Because I've been doing maintenance at the Edenburg. I want to bid these jobs, and frankly, if I want to bid a job and I got to pull my bid, I'm going to be mad, because that's how my guys make my living and their living. So what I think is we need to make this a priority, because I know we got people on council, and it sounds pretty, it ain't complicated, but it's a job, and this needs to be a focus, and it needs to be a focus real soon. I would like for anybody on council that has a conflict, and I think we got 3, maybe 4 people, it needs to be done. And I'm requesting it be done. Tonight might not be the night, but I wanted to bring it up because we obviously need to talk about it.
Well,
I've had conflict of interest filed since January 1st or 2nd. I've got them in there on a couple of things, but we haven't taken that next step. Matter of fact, I filled one out last week for the Edenburg, but I'll get it in a packet. We'll bring it over here and do it. I just want to get things right. I don't think I'd be in any trouble as long as everybody knows we're trying to do the right thing, but I've never heard that before. In the last administration, that was never done. So I appreciate you knowing this, because it's just something we need to get straightened out also.
Well, it's very important, and it should be done each and every time that a job comes up. It has to be done each and every time. And the important thing to know is that a conflict of interest waiver, while it is done by the board or commission, that is simply an advisement. The conflict of interest does not reside within the board or commission. It resides within the individual. The individual is subject to criminal liability if the waiver is not done.
Well, I even presented a conflict of interest about the Pee Wee addition, but it never came before the board. So I should have, if I would have known what I know now, this would have came in, but that's why I'm pushing it. I need to get a packet, and I need to talk to the other guys, because this needs to be done.
Well, what specifically is the form that you're holding?
The form I'm holding is the city owns a seniors building over at the Edenburg, and I've been doing maintenance on that for about 4 years. And I've never filled out one of these for that. I've done not a lot of jobs for the city, but I expect I've had my hands on between 5 and 10, safe speaking, and I've never done that before. Not because I'm trying to get the city or I'm getting rich, it's just because I've never heard it put to me like that.
And I'll say for everyone here that Paul has approached me specifically about conflict of interests, and he is, I will say, to your credit, that you have attempted to take those steps, and I appreciate that, and it is very important, and we have to be careful to do that each and every time, not just once. So if there's a potential conflict that we need to discuss, we certainly need to do that at these meetings.
Okay. Thank you, Dale.
Thank you, Paul.
All right, I need a motion to accept the claims for board approval.
Motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. We need to open up the public hearing of City of Lawrenceburg. I need council.
Here, we need to call
Up here.
council first.
Everybody up here. Let's stand for the pledge first. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a roll call, please?
Member Anthony Abbott.
Here.
Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Mel Davis. Member Randy Abner.
Here.
Member Paul Seymour Jr.
Here.
Police Chief Don Combs.
Here.
Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
Here.
EMS Director Bobby Mills.
Here.
City Attorney Del Weldon.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen. Mayor Kelly Milan and myself. Sorry.
Here. All right, we're going to go down to new business. Suzanne Orndorff, additional appropriation ordinance.
Okay, Your Honor, if I may?
Yep.
Thank you. We have an additional appropriations ordinance. It was published for a public hearing, 6:45 p.m., so it's now approximately 6:51 p.m. We'll open this additional appropriations ordinance for a vote, and I'll read the appropriations ordinance in its whole at this time. City of Lawrenceburg, Indiana, additional appropriation ordinance, ordinance number 3-2016. Whereas it has been determined it is now necessary to appropriate more money than was originally appropriated in the annual budget. Now, therefore, Section 1 be it ordained by the City of Lawrenceburg, Dearborn County, that for the expenses of the taxing unit, the following additional sums of money are hereby appropriated out of the funds named and for the purposes of the new home purchase assistance program, subject to laws governing the same. Fund name, NR redevelopment, amount requested, amount approved by Common Council. Fund name, major budget classification, capital outlays, amount requested $150,000. Fund name, total for NR redevelopment fund, amount requested $150,000. And then amount approved by Common Council would be up to the council. And I will state, when we open this up for discussion, that this is an additional appropriations ordinance to fund the new home purchase assistance program. That vote was carried out by the Redevelopment Commission, and these funds would go to fund that program.
Okay.
Can I just abstain, or do I need to abstain and leave the room? Because I do build some homes, and I'm asking the question. I feel like I should abstain from this.
We're not doing conflict of interest waiver. Doesn't need to recuse
This
herself.
is strictly just a transfer.
Well, and for these purposes here, if there's a future scenario where you feel that you would have a conflict of interest, then you would have to address it at that time.
We're just
This is just a transfer. of
just a
money.
transfer, and the money doesn't go directly to you. Well, I just wanted to bring it up. That's right.
It's really just to create a line item within the NR redevelopment. That's all that is
It's an
for.
incentive for it.
I need a motion to accept the ordinance. Additional appropriation ordinance.
So move.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to suspend the rules to do the second reading of this appropriation ordinance by title only. Need a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Read the ordinance for a second time.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. This is the second reading of City of Lawrenceburg, Indiana additional appropriation ordinance number 3-2016. We'd ask for a vote on the second reading.
I need a motion to accept the second reading of additional appropriation ordinance 3-2016.
So moved.
Second? Aye. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Thank you, Your Honor. If it pleases Your Honor, I would ask for the rules to be suspended to have the third and final reading tonight.
All right, I need a motion to suspend the rules for third and final reading of ordinance number 3-2016 by title only.
So moved.
Second? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Please read the ordinance.
And then also, Judge, also, Your Honor, I would ask for a motion to suspend the rules to read the third and final reading by title only.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And for the third and final reading, City of Lawrenceburg, Indiana additional appropriation ordinance number 3-2016.
I need a motion to accept additional appropriation ordinance 3-2016.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, now, if we can go back up to announcements. That's it now. Any announcements to bring forward? Anybody? Okay. I need a motion to approve minutes of the previous meeting.
So be it.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye, please.
Aye. Oh, so we're staying in council, we're not going back to utility board?
We were done? Oh, I'm sorry, you're right.
We can do utility board now.
We can do, let's do utility board last.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Thanks, Aaron. So did I get a motion on the approval of meeting minutes from the previous meeting?
So be it.
Second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Committee reports, Fire Chief John Tremaine.
Excuse me, nothing more than everybody should have a copy of February run totals.
Okay. All right, Police Chief Donnie Combs.
Thank you, Mayor. Just so the council knows, we are involved in the NAMI group. The CIT, NAMI is the National Alliance for Mental Illness, the Crisis Intervention Team. We've been involved in them for months. We go to meetings once a month with them, and at least sometime next year, we may be sending an officer or two to training, like in January, February 17. So we're working with them on that. And that's pretty much all I have.
All right. EMS Director Bobby Mills.
No report, Mayor.
All right. Next item would be under new business, Charlene Hare, Alzheimer's Association Walk.
Hello, I'm Sue Manford, and this is Charlene Hare, and we're with the Alzheimer's Support Groups of Southeast Indiana, which services basically Dearborn and Ripley County residents. And for the past 3 years, we've used the Dearborn Trail for the walk to end Alzheimer's, and we'd like to use it again on September 10th from about 8 to 12. And I know you talked about waiving the fees. We'd like to ask if the fees to the parking garage could be waived that morning.
Okay.
What's the date on that, ma'am?
It's the 10th of September.
Say like 8 to noon, you thought?
8 to noon, yeah.
Anybody want to make a motion to accept?
So that's part of the parking garage plan to waive the fees. I didn't know where we were at with that.
The only thing I can report is I've had discussions with a couple other of the tenants up there, but nothing's firmed up, so. I mean, we can respond back on the fees at a later day if that's okay.
That's
Since it's not
fine.
until September. But can I get a motion then to accept their ability to use the trail on September 10th?
Motion to approve.
Second? A second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next item is ARA, Housing Grant Resolution.
Hi there, I'm Deb Lilly from ARA, and recently the City of Lawrenceburg received a $150,000 grant for an aging-in-place owner-occupied repair program. They had requested $300,000, but unfortunately we only got half of that. So while we had hoped to serve about 19 home owners, or 18, looks like we're going to be able to do about 8. So the state took their time in getting the documents to the city. The award was granted in October, but we didn't get the original grant agreement until last month. So we have the grant agreement that we need signed by the mayor, as well as an authorizing resolution. This funder does things just a little bit backwards. Typically, we would ask for a resolution to be signed to go forward with an application prior to grant application, but this time we do it differently. We ask that the resolution be executed upon receipt of grant agreement. So the resolution was part of your grant agreement that was submitted to you. I do have 2 copies of it. If you want me to read it, I'll be glad to, or if the city attorney wants to read it. I don't know what protocol is here, so whatever.
You can approach.
I can go ahead and give it to
Oh,
you.
yes, ma'am, please.
Okay, I will. We also ask that 2 originals be signed if we could, because we need to submit one back.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to know a little bit more about the program. I wasn't sure how much council knew about the program, or any questions that we could answer. We hope to get started real soon. Victoria Dake will be the contact with the homeowners who will be being assisted, and she'll be working with them, getting inspections done and that kind of thing. We're ready to go as soon as the state tells us we can. We'll submit this by I think we have to have it submitted by the 18th of March. And ARA actually was procured. The city did full procurement for ARA back in July, even before they applied for the funding. I believe it was at the July Board of Works where ARA was selected. So we will be preparing our contract once the grant agreement is approved and sent back, and we'll submit our contract to the Board of Works for review.
And just so people know, and correct me if I'm wrong, Deb, but the $150,000, our piece to that is 10%.
I'm sorry, yes, the city matched that.
And because we had agreed, I guess, to up to $30,000 if we would have gotten the full $300,000.
That's correct.
Okay.
Do you know how many people applied for it off the top of your head?
Victoria might.
I think we had around 24 applications.
24, okay. And approximately 8 will get, okay.
Now-
If some homes use a little bit less than the 15,000, then obviously that's more homes that
Okay.
we could do.
We also, this is sort of an every other year application,
Well,
correct?
because of the way the funder wants you to spend down your funds, the city would have to spend down 25% of their funds before they could apply again. Typically, that, you would miss that next year.
Okay.
So I would say that you'd probably be ready in 2018.
Okay.
If you continue to have waiting lists and people know that it might be an option, it'd be great to reapply as we
Yeah,
can.
that's what I was thinking. Okay. All right.
Your Honor, I will now read the proposed resolution. Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority Community Development Block Grant Disaster Relief 2 of City of Lawrenceburg. The undersigned being all of the directors, members of City Council, organized and existing under the laws of the State of Indiana, hereinafter referred to as the company, hereby consent to take the following action without having a meeting. Subject to the terms, limitations, and conditions set forth below, the undersigned have considered and now adopt and approve the following resolutions as permitted by the company's bylaws and by Indiana Code, Section 23-17-15-2, resolved. Pursuant to the authority vested in the Board of Directors, after due consideration, the company is hereby authorized to take all steps necessary to apply for and accept money in the form of a recoverable grant from the Community Development Block Grant Program from the Community Development Block Grant Program Disaster Relief 2, administered by Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority, IHCDA, in an amount not to exceed $150,000, according to the terms and conditions as are more particularly set forth in the lien and restrictive covenant agreement and award agreement between IHCDA and corporation, copy of which has been provided to the undersigned. Further resolved, that the following officer or director of the company, Kelly L. Milan, Mayor, be and hereby are authorized, empowered, and directed to execute, acknowledge, and deliver the company's name and on its behalf all applications, documents, covenants, binding real estate deeds, instruments, or writings as are necessary and or as appropriate to communicate the recoverable grant transaction in a form and manner as is acceptable to IHCDA. We just ask for one vote to approve the resolution.
Okay, I need to get a motion to accept the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority Community Development Block Grant / Disaster Relief 2 for the City of Lawrenceburg. Second? Second?
Second.
Any additional questions for Ms. Lilly? Okay, I got a motion, I got a second. I need everybody in favor say aye, please. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, presenter Anthony and Sarah Braceno? Did I say that right?
How you guys doing?
Good.
I'm Anthony Braceno. My wife Sarah's back there with their newborn.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Last year we did the launch for Lauren on the levee. Just seeking permission again to do it this year. The same kind of sign. They've got a sign at Walnut and 50 that was made last year, put back on the levee where it was right before the event. Mario did the bell for us 22 times to do that again at 7:22. Then the signage on 50 at the fairgrounds, and then the one short and 50 to kind of promote the launch for Lauren.
And what was the date again?
April 22nd.
April 22nd.
Yeah. It's a Friday this year because of leap year.
Okay.
So, Cure Starts Now will be there again. Kelsey Chevrolet is donating a 2016 Camaro to be raffled off for a weekend getaway. And all the proceeds from that are going to go toward to the launch for Lauren. Q102, so they'd bring a truck down to like broadcast live during the event. And Trade Industrial is doing all the helium again they did last year, so that was really nice of them. And then the parking garage was open for people last year also, if that's possible. That's about all we got.
Okay. This is on the 22nd then?
Right, yeah, it'll start at 6 p.m. People will start to get there at 6 to get their balloons, and at 7:22, when the bells go off, they launch the balloons. We had about 1,100 people last year. We had a balloon get all the way down to Delaware, 600 miles away. It made national news. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, good.
Last year we had like a week. My wife thought about a week before, so I had a week to get everything together. This time we got some more time to get stuff together, and do more of a, like of a fundraising thing this time. 'Cause last year, we didn't really have time to fundraise. We
Right.
sold some bracelets and stuff down there, but this year, we plan on doing like a raffle, have local businesses donate items they can raffle off that day, and then all the proceeds go to the Cure Starts Now and Launch for Lauren.
So your wife needs to be a wedding planner.
Yeah, yeah.
That would cut down a lot of cost.
No doubt.
If you only have a week to do it.
That's right, and I was on the phone all week. But everybody
We
came
appreciate
together-
it.
Yeah, everybody came together really well, and
Good. Good.
people pulled together in the community, so.
All right, I need a motion. Anything else for us?
No, that's it.
I need a motion to accept the request for lunch for Lauren at, on April 22nd. So moved. Second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next is the donation committee recommendations. You all have a list of these in your packet. The donation committee recommends that there are three requests that are being recommended tonight, and I'll just read those real quick. Big Brothers Big Sisters for $500. Lawrenceburg High School After Prom, $500, and then Community Mental Health Center, their Directions program, $75. Any questions? I appreciate those folks taking their volunteer time to meet and discuss these, and I believe that they had a pretty healthy discussions. I was a part of that first night just to help guide along, but I'm looking forward to what they have to do for us, so. All right, I need a motion to accept.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks a lot, guys. I don't have any other new business listed. Anything under old business? Let's go ahead and do comments from the audience. Sure.
I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. That's what this is for.
That big elephant in the room?
Yeah.
On December the 7th, when you all decided to go on to foreclosure with the two loans, if I'm not mistaken, that Gerner and Carnes said that they could have those letters out in 3 days if they had totals of the amounts due. Am I correct?
I'm not sure about the dates, I'm not sure.
Okay, well, I've watched the tape about 6 times. And Mike Lawrence even said, well, can we have this done in the next 10 days, which would be, and he mentioned specifically December the 18th. And the clerk said, they said, Gerner and Carnes said that we need up-to-date balances, whatever everybody's balance is. And she said, well, you're not going to get it from me, you're going to have to go to Umball. And I was under the understanding at that meeting when we walked out of here that by the end of the year, those letters would be sent by the past administration and not passed on. And if you watch the meeting minutes, that's pretty much what everybody else gets too. That's why I'm asking.
That would have
because-
been my belief too, if that's what they said. I haven't watched the video.
Yeah, I mean, and we were all here, and Mike Lawrence specifically said, can we have this done by the 18th? And that's when Jackie said, you know, when they asked her for the totals of each loan, she said, well, you're not going to get it from me. She said, you're going to have to go to Umball. So when I walked out of here, I thought that by the 18th, those letters would be sent. And then we come in here in January, and it's on you guys.
Yeah, I thought they'd been sent until I seen the news.
So, I mean, you all are getting beat up. And once again, I'm not pointing fingers, but that paperwork should have been done. You had 24 days.
Yeah, I thought it would have been out too.
Meeting. And then you guys come in here tonight, and it's like, you guys are getting, you're slamming these guys for not getting it done. I want to know whose fault is it? Is it last administration with 24 days? Is it new administration for not following through? I want to know who's letting us down here. I just want a definitive answer.
Well, let me answer that, Pam. I'm not going to sit here and throw the last administration under the bus. I think they did what they felt they needed to do. Why it wasn't executed by the end of the year, I can't answer that. All I can answer for is why I haven't, not I, but why we haven't done anything thus far.
I'm just saying that everybody that was in that meeting, everybody sitting here, when we walked out, we thought by the 18th of December, there was going to be letters in the mail, and there'd be a beginning to resolution. And then all I've seen is media here going, you guys didn't do your job, and you know, all kinds of stuff, and I just want to know. I mean, it's like a big whirlwind, and nobody's taken
Well,
possession, I guess.
well, we're taking possession because it's
And I
going to be,
appreciate
it's going to
that.
be solved.
And I
it's-
just don't think that, I really thought it was done then.
Yeah. Well,
So I was shocked. And I ask other people because I make mistakes. You know, sometimes getting out of bed's a mistake. But, I mean, that's where, when I watched that, and I watched it over and over and over, and I got from that's when it was supposed to be done. So I just feel like 24 days, and they said, Mike Lawrence even mentioned the 18th. So I thought by the 18th, they would have had their numbers and the letters would have been sent out. So, I mean, I was kind of shocked when I was told that it wasn't, and it was these guys' fault. They had 2 months to do it. So I was just curious as to if you remembered what I remember.
Yeah, I didn't remember the exact times, but I'm like you, I would assume that would have been mailed out. That's what they said on the video, 18 days, you know, whatever. If they would have got the totals and mailed it out, I would assume that they had mailed it out also.
And if you look at the paperwork on theirs, there was actually 2 people who wanted to pay those loans off, but couldn't get.
One of them, I believe, did.
Well, actually, I think both of them did, but they couldn't get balances, and one of them paid $283 too much.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, you know, I just want to know, as a taxpayer, who let me down. That's all I want to
I
know.
don't think anybody's let you down. Kelly, tell me if I'm wrong. We didn't fire lawyers, and we're gonna move. We've been here 2 months. I mean, that's as simple as it can get. It's gonna happen.
Well, and I understand that, Paul, but what I'm saying is, I truly thought when we walked out of here that night, it was a done deal, it was resolved, and then we come in here in January, and it's on you guys. That's my question. Why wasn't it resolved by the last administration? I don't know, and I know you guys can't go back and fix anything, but I'm just saying, there are people out here that are absolutely out dinging people today for what should have been done in the 24 days prior to you guys taking office. That's my point.
Well, and your point's well taken. And I'm just, I don't think there's an easy answer to your question. What we're saying is there's going to be resolution.
And
it's
I
going to
truly
happen.
believe that.
And we're going to recover our money.
I mean, I think you know, if I didn't think that, I'd tell you. But I just wanted to know, because I'm sitting here listening to you guys already getting thrown under the bus and backed over, and I don't understand that.
Well, I appreciate your support, but
All right.
we're, you know.
I just wanted to know,
we're
for my
big
own
boys.
satisfaction, because I've been to these meetings.
Yep.
All right,
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Now's your chance. Okay. I need a motion to accept the claims for board approval.
I had a question on one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't mean to be picking on Dell, but it said for Dell Weldon, city attorney, almost $30,000, but it said from 11/6. Is that, you're allowed to do that?
You are. I I reviewed that both with IACT and also with the State Board of Accounts, because there's legal work that is necessary, as we know, for a transition from one administration to another, and the mayor and the new administration requires legal advice for that transition. Both IACT and the State Board of Accounts approved that billing. But that's a good question.
All right, well, thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions, guys? No. Anybody? All right, I need a motion to accept claims for board approval.
So moved.
Second? All those in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We'll open up the utility board meeting. Could I get a roll call, please?
Member Anthony Abbott.
Here.
Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Mel Davis. Member Randy Abner.
Here.
Member Paul Seymour Jr.
Here.
City Attorney Del Weldon.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen. President Kelly Malone.
Here.
And myself.
All right. Any announcements?
I have a question.
Yes.
At a prior meeting, Owen's not here tonight, but he said that soon they'd be putting up more lights, entertainment district lights down the T, both directions. I was wondering if anybody here that is involved in that would know when that's going to take place.
I'll be honest, Aaron, I haven't heard a thing.
Yeah, because it was a few months ago, but I haven't heard anything either. That's why someone mentioned it to me.
I can ask him.
Because when they said when they got to end of Walnut, they were going to go one direction or the other with them.
On High Street?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lights. All right. Any other announcements? I just need a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
So be it.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I don't believe there's any reports. I don't have any new business or old business, unless somebody here has anything. Anybody on board? All right, I just need a motion to accept the claims for board approval.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks for coming out, guys.
I got 2 copies here for you. Do you need Tyler's signature on anything? Because, okay, all right. Then you should have everything on there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She said she would drop them off tomorrow. You going upstairs?
Okay. Okay.
The most recent Board of Works meeting, last month. Yep. Well, and that's a good question we were talking about today. So what you're saying is redevelopment approved the 150.
Yeah, my understanding.
And now we're approving it again. I think that it's just kind of a double stamp, because you could make an argument either way, and I've actually researched
Like I
this.
said, we're going to be doing an ordinance on our end to set up that new fund. Will you need paperwork on that when we do it, or not necessary?
Purse strings. I just think it's good to do it twice, essentially, especially because, council should be a warehouse or a clearinghouse for all spending, and I just think it makes it cleaner. That way you have a double record of any kind of spending. Redevelopment, they don't, and you're exactly right, and that's why I think it's good to do both with both, because council does have more authority in terms of overall budget, and so I think, instead of doing it just in redevelopment, let's run it through council too. That way, we're discussing all spending here, and I think it's just, you could make an argument that you only have to do it once, but why not do it twice? It's kind of the conclusion I came to, yeah.